Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with ASU strike.
You have done your work, you have put us to the wall. We are not your slaves.
I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report. I have not seen the report.
Good morning and welcome to the 13th day of June 2024, and it's Africa's Finest Breakfast Show you're on to, and we're glad to be part of your lives after we had a swell time yesterday, June 12, 2024, where we did roll back the years to 25 years of non-stop democracy reign in Africa's biggest black nation, Nigeria, and indeed it was a lot of fun, a lot of talking points across board about someone who I know was part of those who tried as much as they could not to let the cat out of the bag as regards all the highlights of yesterday, where especially where Africa's biggest economy president did miss a step. And she says it wasn't we're talking about. All right, I had to.
You had to chip that in.
Yeah.
Good morning, Anthony.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you today?
Spokesperson, President. I'm fine.
I no comment. All right. Good morning to each and every one of you out there. Anthony, the way you do your thing.
I love your earrings. Really nice.
Anyway, thank you so much. Of course, yesterday was 25 years of democracy, June 12, worth celebrating, and we are excited. Now, today is June 13th, so snap out of it and wake up.
Yeah, today is Abilism Day, International Day for Abilism. And should I let them know what happened?
No, you shouldn't. That's behind the camera. You shouldn't do that to your colleague.
Well, I thought somebody used to say, my colleague that doesn't know maths.
Because you don't.
So I wanted to say, my colleague who doesn't.
No.
See, I'm super nice.
Yeah, you're nicer than me. All right. It's a
yeah, we thought we should crack you up a little bit.
Yes, we should.
Yesterday was too serious.
Yesterday, of course, we're talking about 25 years democracy. A lot of people have had a lot of things to talk about. Most people were not happy. People were happy. Some people wanted the military administration to come back because they felt it was more, not that it was rigid, but things were going on smoothly than what we see now. No. But, for me, like what I told the guests yesterday, I said, the problem is I don't think democracy here is the problem. I think it's the leaders, right? Leaders and the administration that is going topsy-turvy. Once we get the leaders and administration right, then everyone will embrace democracy. Because, during the military administration, everything was rigid. You couldn't do some things. There was that respect they gave, and that, that kid that when he came to the military, the respect, everyone was scared and all of that, but people fell into line. People were more disciplined. You have no choice than to fall into line when it has to do with the military because of the orderliness in which it entails. But with the civilian rule, which is democracy, you have freedom of speech. You can get away with a lot of things. But the military regime, you cannot. But the truth is, I feel democracy has come to stay, and we should embrace it. And I pray that we have the right leaders and good form of administration. I think that's when we can actually move and embrace democracy and be happy with what it brings to the table. All right, good leaders and good followers to ensure that everything is perfect. And also, there was this rush of guest flow yesterday. I noticed all the guests didn't give reasons why they
show up in the live studio. So I was like, okay, so you guys could actually show up.
Yes, live in the
So
studio.
it's like everybody wanted to be part of June 12th history.
It's a journey, Anthony. 25 years is a big deal. It took a lot to get us to where we are today. A lot of people paid the ultimate sacrifice.
True.
Some died in the fight for democracy, like MKO Abiola, we know Bola Ige. All of these people fought for this day to be celebrated. They actually went all out. So it's a time to give accolades, kudos to these individuals that has brought us here to this time and this rule of law in which we celebrate now as individuals and as Nigerians.
All right, we'll be going for a very quick break. When we return from the break, Africa's Finest Breakfast Show would continue, and we've still got a lot of goodies for you. Stay with us.
Road. The increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, the show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global. Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, the show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about...
All right, welcome back for those forced breaks due to some technical issues beyond our control, but thankfully we've got it all sorted out. As we celebrate the 13th day of June 2024, it's the International Day for Awareness of Albinism is what we're looking at on this day. And just to join the voices of those who are going through lots of challenges, suffering from the albinism. And I wish I was a doctor, probably I would have told you more as regards the what's that called? Let me see my colleague who knows science.
Albinism?
No, not albinism.
What?
When the lack of, there's a
what? Do you tell me?
When you lack something in the body, and that's when you...
That's when you what?
Malala.
All right, we're talking about
okay, cut you there.
Right now. You cannot take me unawares today, don't you?
But I did, because I just asked you a question.
No, I'm just looking at you for you to answer your question.
Why if I ask the question, you give me the answer?
No, I don't
the straight face.
A straight face.
Straight face. I did fear you.
All right. All right. The United Nations have recognized albinism since 2024, which it's always observed June 13th. And the UN aims to raise awareness about albinism and its effect on individuals and families. Of course, we know how it is. That stigma is always there when one child is,
Yeah, when you lack the chemical that makes you get the black skin, melanin.
Now, it promotes inclusivity and acceptance of people with albinism, combat discrimination, stigma, like I was mentioning, and of course, violence against people with albinism. Now, the UN tends to create awareness to support equal access to education and, of course, employment and healthcare for individuals with albinism. Now, it's really weird. You find out that a lot of people out there, they tend to, there's this stigma that is attached to albinism. A lot of people wonder and they say to themselves, that's it. And the UN also works to address the specific challenges faced with people with albinism, such as lack of access to adequate health care and sunscreen to prevent skin cancer. They're really prone to skin cancer because of their pores are extremely open.
Yeah,
now,
very
social
fragile.
Exclusion and marginalization, limited access to education and employment opportunities, increased risk of violence and abuse. Now, by recognizing International Albinism Awareness Day, the UN seeks to promote a more inclusive and supportive environment for individuals with albinism worldwide. So that is a beautiful step by the UN, because a lot of people we don't really think about individuals with albinism. If you wonder this albinism, what it entails, the albinos amongst us, the lighter shade with pores and all of that on their bodies. They find it hard to really see.
Because of the lack of melanin in the body.
Of course.
So that's why it happens. And the sun really not friendly to them.
No,
so most times
not.
you see them dark shades.
Exactly.
And
you see them squinting their eyes all
yeah.
the time. It's not easy. I had a head teacher who...
And when they have injuries, it's very difficult for it to heal because of how fragile the skin is. So.
Yes. Exactly. So, we should celebrate them. We should know that they are part of us. They're humans, and we should bring them together and make them feel important.
And funny enough, there's some cultures where they have been described as caste, where people don't get married to them and all that. Cultural, discrimination. So I think the United Nations have done a great deal by ensuring that the 13th of June every year is celebrated for the awareness. So we hope that today a lot of awareness across the country as regards the challenges they face and the need for us to support them in different ways. And like you rightly pointed out, some of them don't get jobs because they're discriminated against. But the funny thing, they're very brilliant people. I've met a lot of them who are extremely brilliant, even in this science and tech world. I know one who does apps. So it shows you they can do a lot of things. Even in the world of sports, we've seen a lot of them. Those in Europe, they're considered as blonde. Yeah, that's another stylish and nicer way to refer to them as blondes. So it tells you they're all over the world.
Yeah, it does. Of course, it's good for us to recognize that they are humans and they are part of us, and they belong in this.
So you can love them, you can marry them. Nothing wrong with them.
There's nothing wrong with them. It's just the lack of melanin in their body, which Of course, it could happen to anyone. You don't choose the color that you want. God is the only one that predicts that.
I look forward to you having your own church. Just like someday I'm going to be a doctor too.
No, you can never be a doctor. I keep telling you.
So how did I know about the melanin? How did I know about it?
Because I was looking at you.
And I told you melanin was the absence of it was why the albinos.
Because you felt you were trying to put me in the spot.
And I did.
No,
because you didn't remember.
But the thing is, really.
So, but you could be a pastor? Could you be that?
I don't think so. But
Why?
if you are a doctor, I will go on national television and radio to announce that no one should come to your hospital.
Why? Because I'll be too good.
You think? All right, we're going to quickly go on a very quick break. Taste and texture.
Okay, because we had one very interesting story we thought we were going to share. Because, we talked about it yesterday. And now Labour has rejected Tinubu's claims that they had an agreement.
Oh, wow.
So it's very interesting to know that the organized Labour has rejected the president's claim that an agreement had been reached on the new national minimum wage in his broadcast. So it's very interesting because we saw some pictures. Yesterday, deliberately, I did watch the Nigerian Television Authority news. We saw a picture of the Labour Party chieftains with the presidency, Ajuri Ngelale and co. One of our guests yesterday did say on the decks that whenever there's a closed door meeting within Labour and presidency, probably they've reached some very crooked agreement. And so that was why the president was bold enough to say that. So it now puts the president in a bad light. Why would you come tell us on Democracy Day, that you've reached an agreement,
which you haven't,
and Labour comes out next and denies you? That just puts the APC in a bad light. Though we're not surprised, there are a lot of promises they've made still yet to come through.
Yet to fulfill these promises.
So now we can go to the kitchen.
Yes, we can. Now, at about this point, we're moving on to taste and texture. And yes, I will not tell you what the recipe is.
Why wouldn't you just change for once?
No, I
just
cannot.
Tell us.
No, I would not. I won't tell us what the recipe is all about. You just have to pull up a chair, get your pen and paper, sit back, relax, and learn what Fatimi has on the table for us today. Taste and texture is up next.
For me, breakfast is the hardest meal to stay on track with. Some days I wake up in the morning and I just want to eat whatever the easiest. This easy vegetable egg bake is a simple breakfast casserole that can be made ahead of time to make mornings a little less stressful. Filled with fresh vegetables topped with a sprinkle of cheese, this egg bake is easy, healthy option to add to your menu. Hello and welcome to another fabulous episode of Taste and Texture. Stay with me because I'll be making one of my favorite breakfast staples. This is a protein-packed veggie egg bake. It is light and fluffy and comes together so easily. The ingredients needed for this finger-licking meal are 10 eggs, 3 cups of almond, cheese, coconut water, parsley, pepper, salt, red pepper and onion pepper, spinach, onions. Let's get busy. Preheat oven to 350 degrees. Crack the eggs into a large bowl and whisk together with the unsweetened almond milk, pepper, salt, and parsley. The stars of the show are the veggies. Now the spinach, which I will chop into bits. Chopped red and orange peppers. You can use any vegetable of your choice, but for me it's spinach. Now let's get cooking. Put the pan on medium heat. Add coconut oil. You can use any oil of your choice. It depends. Vegetable oil, soy oil, you can use any of your choice. Get your veggies, and spinach goes in last for it not to be too tender. Put in the red and orange bell pepper and onions into the pan to sizzle up. Don't keep turning them. Just let it cook a bit and sizzle up and salt. I love cooking with colorful veggies, don't you? For that colorful color. While that's on fire, I'll go ahead to season my eggs with pepper, salt, and parsley. Get a baking tray and put some cheese at the bottom. Stir the veggies to mix with the spinach and cook a bit till the spinach wilts. Then add the egg into the mixture and mix well. Pour in the mixture into a baking tray. Sprinkle some cheese on the top and bake for 30 to 35 minutes. Your meal is ready. While you're enjoying your food, we need to watch what we eat and remember to eat healthy. Here's a little tip on what you gain when you eat this. Egg baked loaded with veggies are my favorite way to start the day. They are high protein and fiber, and the best way to eat low calorie while keeping your blood sugar happy. Veggies are loaded with fiber and water, two main important ingredients, very important for losing weight and maintaining a healthy diet. That's all for today. Join me same time for another exciting mouth-watering episode. Bye!
All right, you're welcome back from that segment, Taste and Texture. Hope your taste bud is wanting more, because that is all about
I'm wanting more.
Egg omelette. Hope you will try it. And you can actually do that without the cheese if you want to.
Okay. I didn't know the cheese was compulsory. I thought.
No, it's okay. That's why I said it's optional without the English, Anthony. What's going on today?
Today's not Democracy Day. So
okay. So I completely understand. All right.
No, but that's like lots of how many eggs?
It depends on how you want it. You can have 3, you can have 4, you can have 5. It depends. And that's a filler over there. You can actually eat that with bread if you want to. You can just take it like that with your tea, your juice, and you're good to go. It fills the stomach up immediately.
Okay.
No
we'll try it one of these lucky days.
I hope you do try it. All right, now as we prepare for the AM news this morning, but before we go, before we take the AM news, of course, sports is up next. And, of course, entertainment comes in, and then the AM news. If there's time, we'll take those segments. But let's quickly go on a very quick break. Don't go anywhere. It's Global Morning. Right, Anthony?
Yeah, Game with Sports.
Hello, sport fans. Welcome to Sport News Update. Erik ten Hag is staying at Manchester United, with the club abandoning their search for a new manager. The Premier League giants have thrown their weight behind the Dutchman and are discussing a new contract despite sounding out potential candidates after an underwhelming season at Old Trafford, which saw his side finish 8th. Sources have disclosed that Ten Hag's case was strengthened by the club's shock FA Cup final victory over rival City. Potential replacements, including Mauricio Pochettino, Thomas Tuchel, and Thomas Frank, were sounded out by the United officials, with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos leading the process. However, Tuchel distanced himself from the role after meeting Ratcliffe in Monaco for talks last week. United carried out a performance review following the end of the season, which involved discussions with Ten Hag. While considering all different outcomes, they are said to have come to a clear conclusion that Ten Hag, who is 54, was the best man for the job. Cristiano Ronaldo rode back the years after producing a stunning brace against Ireland in Portugal's final Euro 2024 warm-up clash. The Al-Nassr star has been the center of debate for his national side heading into the tournament, as many argue their side are better without the 39-year-old. However, Ronaldo may have put an end to those debates after bagging 2 goals, including a sensational long-range strike in the second half of their warm-up game. Barcelona's João Felix put the host ahead in the 18th minute before veteran Ronaldo opened his account for the night after the interval. In the 50th minute, the 39-year-old collected the ball on the right side before cutting in and throwing in some step-overs and unleashing an unstoppable effort into the top left corner of the Ireland goal. It was a goal reminiscent of the long-range strikes Ronaldo produced earlier in his career, as the veteran proved that he is still just as leather in front of goal. He then doubled his tally for the evening by scoring another left-footed effort, which sailed into the top right corner after the 39-year-old was picked out inside the box. His 2 strikes against Ireland see Ronaldo take his international goal tally up to 131 and his overall career tally up to a staggering 896 goals. Pep Guardiola has ruled out ever making a return to Barcelona as manager in the future, as speculation remains over his Manchester City plans. The Spanish boss has only 1 year left on his Man City contract and has hinted that next season could be his last as boss of the club. Last season, Guardiola led City to a record-breaking 4th Premier League title in a row and his 6th in 7 seasons as manager. It came just a year after the club became only the second side to win the treble when they nabbed the title, FA Cup, the City's first ever Champions League. Guardiola has remained tight-lipped about his future, but he has squashed any chance of him ever returning to Barcelona. The 53-year-old was asked about a possible second stint at the Catalan club during a press conference at his annual golf tournament, the Legends Trophy, and he shut down the possibility by saying it is a door that is closed. Talking golf, Tiger Woods has revealed he is been getting some advice on his game from an unlikely source ahead of this week's US Open. His 15-year-old son, Charlie, the 15-time major winner, is set to compete in this week's third major of the year at the Pinehurst in the North Carolina, and he's had a familiar face out with him on the course. Charlie himself tried to qualify for the event, falling short in the qualifier in April, but he's still alongside his dad and in matching colors too, ahead of Thursday's start. Fernando Torres has taken his first post in management after being appointed boss of Atletico Madrid's B team. The 40-year-old hung his boot in 2020 following an illustrious playing career both domestically and for the national team, and joined the coaching staff at his boyhood club in 2021. Having been in charge of Atletico's under-19 side for the past 3 years, Torres has now been promoted as boss of the club's B team after previous manager Luis Tervinent joined Diego Simone's senior staff. With Atletico currently playing in the Spanish 10th year, it will be the former striker's first senior management role since retiring. Torres started his career with Atletico before moving to Liverpool in 2007, where he became an Anfield hero after scoring 81 goals in 142 appearances for the Reds. He shockingly moved to Chelsea in the 2011 January transfer window, and while never hitting the same heights for the Blues, he did win the FA Cup and the Champions League while with the club. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Sports News Update. I am Anthony Momodu.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has revealed that a consensus has been reached on the long-debated new minimum wage between the federal government and organized labor. In his national broadcast to mark the 2024 Democracy Day in Abuja, Tinubu revealed that an exclusive bill will soon be sent to the National Assembly to formalize a new minimum wage. He stated that both federal government and labor have negotiated in a good faith a new national minimum wage, adding that his administration chose a democratic approach over a dictatorship in addressing the demands of labor. In a related development, President Bola Tinubu has paid a glowing tribute to some media organizations for their fight and doggedness for a return to democracy during the military regime. In his Democracy Day speech, Tinubu also commended some Nigerian journalists alongside some pro-democracy activists who mounted barricades to protest against the military. The president also paid tribute to some leaders and activists who fought against the military and for the return of democracy. The National Tribune has unveiled a large picture portrait of President Bola Tinubu. The portrait was unveiled at the Eagle Square during the 2024 Democracy Day yesterday in celebration parade. It was announced at the 2024 Democracy Day event that the project was initiated by the Artifit Gallery, Best Theatre Company, and the National Council for Arts and Culture. The portrait of the president is said to be the world's largest painting portrait on canvas. The national chairman of Labour Party, Julius Abure, has called for a sustainable democratic system that will grant the participation of all citizens. The national chairman made the call at a lecture organized by the party as part of activities to mark the nation's Democratic Day. A member of House of Representatives, Honorable Clement Jimbo, has observed that since the return to democracy rule, Nigeria has witnessed incremental political, social, and economic gains. Speaking during a political program with Global Television, Jimbo, however, noted that despite the gains, Nigeria's democracy is still gulping with other challenges.
Julius Abure stressed that the primary aim of democracy is to secure and protect the lives and properties of citizens of the country.
That security and welfare shall be the principal purpose of governments. Nigerians today are not asking for welfare, secure our lives. And the government cannot provide security.
A public affairs analyst, Professor Sam Amadi, advocated for a total reform of the electoral process to ensure free, fair, and credible election.
The result was annulled, but 2023, a result was annulled through putting down the IRF. The INEC annulled.
The ABEC Federal Constituency representative further said democracy has increased citizens' participation and strengthened democratic institutions. The Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kuka, says the Nigerian democracy is in recession because it doesn't reflect the cultural experiences of Nigeria as a diverse nation. Kuka stated this at the Platform Nigeria program by Lagos-based Church Covenant Nation to mark the 2024 Democracy Day. According to the cleric, Nigeria's democracy was not founded on the country's historical, cultural, or anthropological experiences, unlike Europe, where principles of democracy were founded on the thinking of several philosophers. Kuka, while acknowledging the global economic recession, said its impact is aggravated in Nigeria because of mismanagement. The Osun State Governor, Ademola Adeleke, has highlighted free and fair election as the best way to honor the memory of the acclaimed winner of the June 12 presidential election, Basharu Mashood Abiola, and other democratic heroes. Describing free and fair elections as the lifetime of any viral democracy, Adeleke acknowledged the sacrifices and struggles that paved the way for the civil rule that we currently enjoy today. In a statement to commemorate Democracy Day, he called on politicians in the country to submit themselves to upholding the tenets of democracy by respecting the will of the people. Democracy is described as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But how do Nigerians perceive this concept? How do they experience democracy in their daily lives? And what are their hopes and challenges? In commemoration of this year's Democracy Day, yesterday, June 12. The Speaker of House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has congratulated Nigerians on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of unspoken democratic governance, assuring them that more dividends of democracy would come their way very soon. In a statement signed by the Speaker's Special Advisor, Media and Publicity, Musa Kirshi, Abbas noted that dividends of democracy are bound to reach more Nigerians, according to him. This year's celebration marks a significant epoch in the life of the National Assembly, as also coincides with the first anniversary of the 10th Assembly. Protesters under the Edo State Civil Society organizations have called on the federal government to formulate and implement policies that will better the lot of Nigerians. One of the leaders of Edo, Kola Ekpopaye, who stated this at a protest rally organized by the organization in Benin, said, they came out to vent their frustration over the state of the nation, especially to put an end to hunger. He lamented that the ban of democracy practices in Nigeria is not for the people, but against the people. Vice President Kashim Shettima has appealed to resident doctors to stay and join hands with President Bola Tinubu's administration in the ongoing effort to salvage the nation, particularly the health sector. The spokesperson of the Vice President, Stanley Ocha, in a statement said Shettima made the appeal when he granted audience to the National Executive Committee of the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA. The association, led by its newly elected president, Professor Bala Audu, paid him a courtesy visit at the presidential villa. The vice president also implored the doctors to resist the temptation of absconding without flashing a ray of hope. The Nigerian Data Protection Commission says more than 1,000 financial institutions, schools, insurance companies, and consultancy firms are currently undergoing investigations for various degrees of breaches of citizens' data. The Commission's National Commissioner, Vincent Olatunji, revealed this during an interactive session with journalists to mark the first anniversary of President Bola Tinubu's signing into law of Nigerian Data Protection Commission Act in Abuja. Olatunji revealed that 4 major banks and 3 other institutions have faced sanctions and incurred fines totaling 400 million naira for infractions related to breaches of citizens' data. You're watching AM News, and it's coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we are on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and the handles now showing on your screen. When AM News returns, federal government reroutes mega project, slashes lines to 6. This and other more stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of AM News. Thank you for staying with us. Over now to our foreign scene, the United Nations Security Council has voted to support a U.S. proposed Israel-Gaza ceasefire plan. The proposal set out conditions for a full and complete ceasefire, the release of hostages held by Hamas, the return of dead hostages remains, and the exchange of Palestinian prisoners. 14 of the 15 Security Council members voted in favor of the U.S. drafted resolution. Russia abstained. The resolution stated that Israel has accepted the ceasefire proposal and urges Hamas to agree to it too. In the meantime, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken says if a ceasefire plan backed by the U.S. and UN does not progress, Hamas will be to blame. Blinken reiterated his call for Hamas to accept the plan as outlined by President Biden 11 days ago. He says it is the responsibility of Hamas leader Yemen Sowar to make the casting vote, stating that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had reaffirmed his commitment to the proposal when they held talks in Jerusalem. In business, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Atiku Bagudu, says the proposed 2024 budget will be partly financed with the 50 billion naira Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, PIDF. Bagudu disclosed this while briefing the joint session of the Senate and House of Representatives Committee on National Planning and Economic Affairs regarding the proposed supplementary appropriation bill. He, however, noted that the 50 billion naira was insufficient to fund the Renewed Hope transformational project, prompting the federal government to seek a $2.5 billion loan from the World Bank. He further disclosed that the World Bank's management will soon convene to decide on the loan's approval. The National Pension Commission, PENCON, has approved the disbursement of 4.2 billion naira to 8,651 Nigerians who experienced temporary job loss in the first quarter of 2024. The total sum disbursed reflects the considerable financial support provided to these individuals under the age of 50 years, averaging around 1.64 million per person. This move is part of the measures to alleviate the financial challenges faced by individuals due to unemployment, providing much-needed relief amid ongoing economic difficulties. The federal government says it has rerouted the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway path to avoid any possible damage to suburb cables belonging to telecommunications company. The government also said it had reduced the project size from 10 lanes to 6 as a cost-saving measure for the legacy project. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, who made the announcement at a meeting with contractors in Abuja, also said the government had disbursed a total sum of 10 billion naira as compensation to property owners affected by the demolition necessary for the construction of 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. On entertainment, veteran Nollywood actor Dayo Adewumi, popularly known as Sule, is dead. The Yoruba actor died yesterday at an undisclosed hospital in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The news of his death was announced by popular Ibadan-based cleric, Pastor Ademola Amosun, who was known as Agbala Gabriel, who had been caring for the actor in recent months. Subebe went viral last year when he reflected on his past, admitting that he once led a reckless life during his younger years. Gabriel, a young pastor known for his philanthropy, has provided the veteran actor with a new home last year. In sport, Gernot Rohr has expressed his desire to lead Benin Republic to the FIFA World Cup, replicating the feat he achieved with Nigeria in 2018 in Russia. The 70-year-old Franco-German made the accession after the Cheetahs outclassed the Super Eagles 2-1 in a Group C qualifying fixture at Stade Felix Bungry in Abidjan on Monday. Hired on August 9, 2016, the former Bridgerex coach was relieved of his position by NFF on December 13, 2021 after almost 6 years in saddle, recording 35 wins, 16 draws and 13 losses in 64 matches in charge. And as we end the news, let's take a quick look at our top stories again. We brought to you that President Tinubu says new national minimum wage ready, awaiting legislative action. Adeleke advocates credible election to immortalize MK Abiola and others. And on business, National Pension Commission approves disbursements of 14.2 billion naira to more than 8,000 Nigeria. And in sports, World looks to repeat World Cup appearance with Benin Republic. And that's it on AM News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms by using Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good morning.
for an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines. To explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely because
that this country gets it right.
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
June 12, 1993 has become a beacon of democracy for Nigeria and Nigerians. This day, Pastor Abraham Ololushola believes it is a call for genuine change of attitude from citizens and leaders as a mark of honor and reconciliation.
This will serve as an avenue to reach the unreached in Christ Jesus. Secondly, we need to serve humanity. And so this commission has put it upon ourselves to ensure that the commissioning goes along with meeting the need of the less privileged.
Rotimi Ajayi and other clergy said the soul of a nation is as good as spirituality and actions of citizenry and her leaders. Thus, the need for the mutual support between the clergy and leaders alike for the growth of any nation.
Like June 12th now, by the grace of God, somebody makes sacrifice. But the problem that we have is that people that are supposed to identify with that June 12th, they did not. So the same way with this ministry now, God have called this man to this ministry now. Some people that are supposed to support him to make sure that he do this work well now may not be there to be able to support him. He has to focus his attention on God.
The advice for them is to have patience. They will pass through a lot of challenges. They should carry everybody along. As a nation, we need to move closer to God because things are tearing apart. We need to move closer to Him.
God is being established in the heart of men. All this problem will be solved.
As Nigerians celebrate June 12, 1993 as a mark of the beginning of true democracy for Nigeria, it is hoped the nation will experience greater prosperity as a reward for the first credible, free and fair elections ever, which culminated in the annulment and death of the then president-elect, Chief Moshood Kola Abiola, in detention. Anthony Momodu reporting for Global Television.
Nigeria's transition from military rule to democratic governance, which signaled the beginning of the Fourth Republic, started in 1999 and has so far produced 5 elected presidents to date. For a country that had experienced a series of radical military interferences, Nigerians generally welcomed democracy with palpable excitement 25 years ago. Despite multifaceted challenges, today the country strives to strengthen its bond of unity while driving socio-economic reforms. While insecurity has been particularly difficult to address, government after government has made wide-range efforts to tackle the menace. The practice of democracy has also presented the country the opportunity to resolve key foreign policy issues and created diplomatic channels to reopen and strengthen bilateral ties beyond Africa. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's assumption of office in 1999 as president marks an intersection between military dictatorship and civil rule. On May 1, 2007, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua succeeded Olusegun Obasanjo, cementing a smooth transition between two civilian administrations. However, following the death of Yar'Adua, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan became substantive president in 2010 and would eventually win the 2011 presidential election. Jonathan's electoral loss in the 2015 general election created an upset in Nigeria's political and partisan landscape. Muhammadu Buhari, who had won the 2015 presidential election, spent the 8-year period spanning May 29, 2015 and May 29, 2023 as Nigeria's president. Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed office on May 29, 2023, making him Nigeria's 5th and incumbent president.
Democracy is often described as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But how do Nigerians perceive this concept? How do they experience democracy in their daily lives, and what are their challenges and hopes? In a country as diverse and vibrant as Nigeria, with over 200 million people and more than 250 ethnic groups, democracy means different things to different people. For some, it represents the freedom to choose their leaders and the promise of a better future. For others, it highlights the need for accountability, transparency, and true representation.
For me, good democracy, government of the people, by the people and for the people. So it's a form of government that everybody is involved in decision-making process, and things are done, and at the end of the day, majority gets to, have their share.
Democracy is a freedom day. It's a day that our founding father, our ancestors have paid a supreme price for a nation, Nigeria, to have their freedom. And today we are enjoying the freedom. But basically, they have done their bit, and the new generation is supposed to do the needful to ensure the legacy they kept, the integrities of they kept should be maintained, so that as they have left, their footprint does not leave.
Democracy should be the will of the people being established and being carried out. I think that should be democracy. In our present day Nigeria is not in practice. It's just theoretical, but not in practice. Because by starting from the election, we should be the will of the people coming to lead us. But we saw what happened in our previous last election, what really goes on. So starting from the conduct, from the umpire to the collation, to the declaration of the results, even to the winner being matched. So it's just practical, it's theoretical, not practical.
By the definition of democracy, they said it's the government of the people, for the people and by the people. And right now, this government is not actually for the people. From the look of things, the economy is not friendly, and then masses are actually suffering under a government that's supposed to be for them. And even though we are governed by ourselves, but the interest of a common man is not protected, so there is no democracy at the moment.
Based on what is going on in the country, I don't think democracy is being reflected, because when you look at the hardship and every other thing that is going on in the country, there is no symbol of democracy. Democracy, when you are calling yourself as a leader, I believe you're supposed to be a servant to the people, not being a kind of dictatorship. And I would actually say that the government can still do more better, because it's not too late. When you fail to be inspired, you soon be inspired. The only way you can inspire people is by encouraging them, your citizen. When you say things are not working, how can you make it work? We know it's a global thing they are talking about. When you talk about the hardship in the country now, they will say it is a global thing. It's a global thing in the other outside the country. People should be discouraged of traveling out of the country. But we knew that, but they can still do more by encouraging people.
This democracy we are talking about has a part anything in Nigeria, because it's just like the opposite side. Democracy is where we're supposed to have freedom. What we're supposed to experience is just opposite side of it today. That June 12th is Democracy Day in Nigeria. For what? What are we celebrating? And we said Democracy Day.
Since the return of democracy to Nigeria, there have not been any meaningful impacts to the lives of citizens in Nigeria compared to the ones we had in the past while military were in power. Talking about democracy, where is the democracy today? What is there for us to celebrate as Nigerians? Is it a democracy that one has no right to express his or herself? When you talk, when you react, they'll talk about hate speech. Where is the democracy we are celebrating today? The development you are seeing today all over Nigeria were incorporated right from the military government. As we speak today, no meaningful impact has been made by the civilian leaders. I think the best is for us to go back to the military government.
Democracy has no effect on Nigerians, and I believe they should look at the democracy again, how it was defined, and let us work on it properly to affect the life of Nigerians.
The things we are going through are very terrible for us as a nation. If, as a father, you cannot take good and proper care of your family financially, you are already in trouble. Now, with the situation on ground, I think there is cause to celebrate in some areas, while we need improvement in the area of our financial remuneration.
It's a time of reflection from where we're coming from, because there is nothing to celebrate in this country. Honestly, people are passing through hell. Financially, even to feed is a problem in this country. Some families cannot even feed 2 times in a day. That 2 times, you cannot, even if they have the food for 2 times in a day, it is not a good meal that you can write home about. There is nothing good to celebrate in this country.
Nigerians are asking the government to be radical in its approach in the delivery of democratic dividends and to focus on critical sectors that will restore democracy. For Global Television, Queen Agaba reporting.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momadou. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momadou on television's most compelling and facts.
All right, it's interesting to know you're still part of the program. Why you? Okay. All right, so it's time for us to look at the papers. Never mind the Juma Manson always bringing some drama.
You're the one always cracking me up. You're the one always.
I've never seen somebody who can swap. You feel even the chameleon will be jealous of you.
That's why we have to be professionals all the time. So even if behind the camera we can say one thing.
Oh my God!
We just have to keep a straight face. Global money is the twist of both worlds.
And I think if you took any other profession, you will feel woefully.
I think so. But who knows? Who knows what life, you know how it is. Who knows? I think I might do well in the nursing field.
You kill people. Because you forget you're taking care of someone who is ill and feel the person is ready to do gymnastics and throw the person out of it.
No comment. All right, now let's go into the papers. We just, that's what it is on Global Morning. We tend to douse, whatever
oh my God.
we might be going through today when it comes to the economy and all of that.
All right, let's see what the papers are saying this morning.
Let's see. And of course, the Vanguard. We're going to be starting with the Vanguard this morning. And the caption on the Vanguard says, Eminent Citizens Elder Statesman charts way forward. And still on the Vanguard, Lukman says APC can no longer win election without rigging. Why 1 trillion naira is needed to fund legacy project. That's NDDC.
And I like this headlines. Labour rejects Tinubu's claims of minimum wage agreement.
I knew you were going to say that.
I knew something was sinister with the president when he made that comment. It was one of the catchy moments. And if you notice, a lot of media houses they take that as one of the headlines as regards the democracy speech. But it's a very sour point that one of the key things the president said is being touted a lie.
And funny enough, when you look at the presidential speech, let's take it back to the New Year Day speech. I always say
your
that
famous
my
speech.
favorite speech. But the thing is that when the president comes out to give such speech, it takes this feeling home. There's this sense of hope. There's this sense of we belong.
For those that have not been fooled by the APC?
No, not that. For those, no, really. For people that actually look up to the president. So for the Labour Party to come out and say another by saying that
there was
no argument, it's really, really sad. It's really sad. Or maybe they didn't understand what he meant. Well, we'll get to the root cause of it. I'm not supporting anyone, but
the president spoke English.
Maybe there was just miscommunication or something. I want to believe that, really, Anthony Momodu. Really, when looking at it, it's
all right. We're still looking at what the papers has got in store. We're still with the Vanguard, right?
Yes, we are still with the Vanguard, and it says here, Eagle Square slip, Tinubu not Superman. Presidency, of course, we know what happened there. There was just a small slip that happened.
That wasn't a small slip.
I know you're going to emphasize on this.
No, it wasn't a small slip. He actually missed his step. And for me, I felt those who set the stage up should be questioned why there was a gap that led to the president having that very painful slip. Because
Well, we don't know if it's painful, Anthony. Maybe just something that he just hit his leg, he just slipped and he fell down.
He's an old man, so any little hurt will pain.
You're right. Those who set up that particular
it should be questioned because it should be a flat.
It should be flat, yes, exactly. Because, age and all of that, yes, they should be questioned. But, these things happen. Some of these things you cannot stop. These are natural things that happen. People hit their legs and all of that. So maybe it was just a misstep and led to that. But all is well, right?
Yeah, we had some some school of thought that came from a very controversial point of view, which we cannot share on air.
Please, let's not share that.
So let's look at what the other papers are saying.
All right, the other papers, right now we're going to the Sun, the Daily Sun at about this time, and it says controversy over Tinubu's fall at June 12 parade. Controversies everywhere. Please, let's snap out of it. Now, activists protests in Lagos. Benin over hardship. Now, change government to address hunger, inflation, insecurity. And still on the Sun, we have Nigeria has deteriorated into state capture, and that's from Peter Obi.
I wonder what he means when he says state capture.
Yeah, state. I wonder. I'm not supporting anyone. For me, Jumai Manson, this is not global television now. This is Jumai Manson. For me, I do not care who is on the seat of the presidency. As long as, yes, that's how I am as a Nigerian. Even if I have my favorite and I cast my vote, and at the long run he didn't win or he won, as long as people are being carried along and there is a balance and everyone is happy, really, I do not even care. Even if you're Fulani, if you're Hausa, if you're Yoruba, if you're Igbo, as long as everyone is being carried along and everyone is happy, I think that's it for me. And I always reflect back and I say, do you think Peter Obi would have done better if he was there? Because really, I don't work for the presidency. I work for global television. I work for Dr. Ibrahim Biu. That is who I work for. That's my boss. But the truth is, would Peter Obi would he have done something different? Because he said also that he would have removed something. I know we said there would have been a plan, but
plan B,
there would have been a plan B. But really, Anthony, if there was a plan B, don't you think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would have come up with that plan B if it was that easy? That's number one. For me, and I'm just saying. And number two, Anthony, let's look at it critically now. We all know the impact President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made in Lagos. I will tell you for free, there was a transformation, a very big transformation, that they can stand on their own and still pay minimum wage if to any amount it is called upon now.
Yes, that's one of the.
Let's be subtle.
I think that's one of the excuses or reasons Nigerians looked at and decided to vote him in. But Lagos is not Nigeria. Lagos is not half as big as Nigeria. Let's get that right.
It's a process.
Secondly, Lagos had things, blueprints running before Tinubu came into the picture. He wasn't the only governor of Lagos State. So and Lagos was the former capital of Nigeria. So certain structures had been on ground, certain mindset and issues were already associated with Lagos State. He only came and made it better, but that didn't mean he alone single-handedly turned Lagos around. People subsequently built on what he had built upon. And so Nigeria, it's very unfair when people say Lagos, Nigeria. No, you cannot compare both parties.
I think it's very unfair for someone like Peter Obi. I know he wanted to become president, and we know how that all went. I think it's very unfair when he comes out and he says.
Is he lying?
But the truth
He's not lying.
It carries weight. It's not making the situation better. There are so many people that
the truth is that Labour Party and the PDP, they're meant to be opposition parties, right?
Yes.
And their role is to put the government in power on check and on their toes. So that's simply what he's saying. He has not said go against the government. He has not incited the people.
Some of these statements can incite a lot of things.
No.
Can incite more anger.
What he has said is what we all already know.
Then why are you saying it again?
Because yesterday was Democracy Day, and he was being asked questions by journalists, very tricky journalists who want to get his point of view. For me, I'm not saying he would have been the perfect president, but the truth remains. There are certain things we know. We know that he would have wanted to make a difference, make a change, and probably you cannot compare people's IQ are different, people's style of leadership are different. So Peter Obi also is a shrewd businessman. We also know he has some companies which he has built from the ground up. And we know that to an extent, he built those companies without necessarily putting his hands into public funds. We know the history. Because he's in the brewery sector. We know one particular brewing stuff he built from the scratch, which is truly Nigerian. And we know Tinubu, we know his track record. We've heard stories, we've seen things that played out during the elections, the balloon van issue, and how he has started stake in Lagos State. And Yeah, so if you look at both persons, to an extent, if we want to be sincere, we know certain one of the two parties have certain kind of integrity running for them. And so you would expect that, okay, when he gets the chance, he would do better, or he'll be very shrewd in any decision he takes. But we know that also the issue of him being from certain part of the country also played against him during the campaign season. We worked in a media house where we also saw deliberate attempt to malign him because he was from certain part of the country, talking about Peter Obi now. So we know that certain things worked against him. And if you look at those factors, you also ask the question, why are Nigerians still hating on people from the Southeast? So there are certain questions or certain things that played out which this current government or president benefited from. And so we also did expect better from him because we know that he's not a poor man, he's a rich man. So we thought, okay, because he's rich, he should have more sympathy for those below. Because we know 1993, one key thing that made Abiola voted for was because he had sympathy, empathy for the poor. He gave out lots of things to the poor, and that was why everybody voted for him. That was why we had one of the freest and most credible elections ever. That was the key thing about Abiola. So we thought that was what he was going to replicate, knowing what 1993 meant. He was one of those who fought for democracy. But let's be honest, he hasn't shown that empathy. Just even the labor issue is a very typical example. The fact that he could say something that Labour came out to deny, it doesn't make his, his reign any better. The change of national anthem, for instance, it felt more like because we have the old school and that's what we're used to and that's what we wanted. So that's what we're bringing.
That is your own perspective.
No. It's.
I know most.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question. If you're being sincere, you cannot tell me you prefer this one than the one you know you grew up to and your kids know.
But the truth is, Andy, I think it's because we're so used to the one that we know. The only constant thing in life is change. I am very sure.
Are you what's the guarantee in the next future when the next president comes, if he's not the one, it's not going to be changed? So my question is, if it's changed back, what would you say?
But do you know what?
What would history say about him?
But the truth is,
that's for a selfish reason, not necessarily because that's what we need right now.
We don't know whether it will be changed. We're not talking about that now. But
no, we're saying things that he did that shows that he's not as what we expect when Nigerians want from him. You can't tell me that Nigerians what they were expecting from him when they voted him was for him to change the national anthem. That wasn't what we wanted. If life was great,
I know there are bigger things. There are bigger things than the national anthem.
If the electricity was there, security was there, even though he changed our national flag, nobody would complain.
Very true. I think because we're so used to this particular anthem, we just feel. Well, let's still move on to.
Even the Nigerian team couldn't sing the national anthem. They couldn't perform. The Super Eagles couldn't fly because the song they could hear wasn't something.
They want to just fly on their own.
No, the song couldn't inspire the Eagles to fly. No, but whether you like, it has some psychological effect. Let's be sincere. It's like every time I want to take the news, whether it's the prime news or midday news, once I hear that sing tone play, there's this psychological stuff it does to me. Yeah, it makes me, okay, it's time for the news. It's not a program news. So it makes you put in that mode you are, knowing that, okay, it's like you're delivering something.
It's like a motivation.
Yeah, good. So imagine just changing it all of a sudden. It's going to take your time to, rebuild. Yeah, so we have to be sincere.
Okay, all right. Now, so still on the Sun, we say activists protest. This is still on the Daily Sun. Activists protest in Lagos, Benin over hardship. It says change government to address hunger, inflation, insecurity.
This is Lagos where he hails from. Protest over hardship.
How many years, Anthony? Of course, I know, but everyone is facing this hardship. Well, I'm just saying that let's see how. I
support what you're saying, but I'm just saying the Lagos that is the yardstick is even protesting too. So it tells you even the Lagos things are not as excellent.
Smooth
That's
sailing.
yeah.
All
Smooth
right, let's
sailing.
go to the next paper now, and it's the Daily Trust, right?
Yeah, we've got a lot of trust for them.
Yes. The Daily Trust, and it says only 5.5 million workers will benefit from new minimum wage. That means not everyone will benefit from the new minimum wage, because you need to sustain it seriously. Like, you cannot just, it's not all about saying that we're going to increase to 250,000 naira or the 60,000.
But do you know, if the lawmakers, if the presidency have whatever the benefits and turn it back into the Nigerian populace, the workers, it's very sustainable. If we cut half of what the presidency, the largesse they enjoy, even...
Well, of course, you know, he has cut a little bit when it comes to traveling and all parastatals. If you're traveling, you have to go with at least 5, not so many, like 20, 30 that you go with, like the entourage. He's trying to cut down. You won't talk about that now, right?
I feel like he hasn't done enough.
Well, that's your own opinion.
Knowing
Some
what
people think that he has, and he has
for those benefiting, definitely they will feel that way. It's only natural.
All right, so that is the lead caption on the Daily Trust, and the next newspaper we'll be looking at is Daily Independent. The next paper is Daily Independent,
Okay,
and here
we've
it
got
says,
federal government asking Labour to settle for what won't lead to mass retrenchment. That's a subtle threat there from the federal government. Some governors encouraging youth to be criminals to rig elections, says Goodluck Jonathan. And we've got some other headlines there.
yeah, we do, and it says only new constitution will stop Nigeria from collapse, and that's from Ayoku. He says
Okay,
that
that's Ayoku, Emeka Ayoku from...
and then here says court did not declare pro Wike lawmakers, PDP members. That's Rivers, Anthony General there. He's the one that's saying that. And well, basically here it says Democracy Day. That was yesterday. APC assures Nigerians of better days ahead.
They've been saying that forever. But you know, there was something interesting that happened during the dinner last night, which made me feel like puking when the president was trying to recognize some governors, and also said, Ododo, I'll talk to you later. And Ododo was so happy, brought his, stood up, took a bow, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a governor who whisked Yahaya Bello out, and you're recognizing him, even telling, so it's like you're making him like showing your, oh God, it was like you're giving kudos to his I felt very disgusted last night, and I was like, this is why things can get better in the country, because with that alone, it's like you're giving him, open, recognition for the things he has done, which ordinarily has put even the EFCC in bad light.
But
So
I need to ask something, Anthony. Aside whisking Yahaya Bello out of Abuja, you think Ododo has not done anything for Kogi State yet?
I remember I was talking with you some weeks back, and you told me you're from Kogi State. Nothing good has happened in Kogi State. You were even mad at me.
When Yahaya Bello was there, and everyone can attest to that.
Okay, so how many months has he done? First of all, he brought in someone who is under investigation as his chief of staff, who is a nephew to Yahaya Bello. He whisked Yahaya Bello. You tell me that such person is showing us good signs already?
Let's just watch and see, Anthony. Everyone's administration is different, okay? You're always too, let me not say it.
Yeah, too quick to judge. No, I'm not too quick. I look at the tail signs, it's obvious. In Africa, they say what is going to be good at dusk, you see it when the sun rises in the morning.
Now, of course, moving on now, still on the Daily Independence, here it says, APC can't win next election except through region, party chieftain says. Now it says Nigerians believe Tinubu is one-term president.
Okay.
Yeah, he said it now, Emilio Kong, so whether I think everyone thinks that this is the height of what one is just attained by being president, just for one term and he's done, but let's just see how well it goes.
Okay, Tam, I think in 2027 will be a chance for Nigerians to make their stand known.
And here it says, governance grounded in Niger as governor, 70% of cabinet depart for Hajj. Oh, wow.
Okay, they're learning very well.
Governor Umba breaks 19-year jinx as NMCN OK's internship indexing for ESUT. Other schools
of nursing. 19 years jinx. I wonder what's that all about. But we have to
Yes,
find out on page 6.
they've not been going for internship, so
Yes,
it's first.
This is the first in 19 years. And that's it. Okay, some governors, you read that already, some governors encouraging youths to be criminals to rig election. Of course, that's Jonathan there, but let's be sure it's Goodluck Jonathan that's saying that. Of course, we know it is. All right, the next is the leadership, and we have here on the leadership, it says Lagos faults Tinubu's speech, insists on 250,000 naira. Okay, and still on the leadership, court rules on Kano Emirate tussle today. All right, let's see how well that particular judgment.
It's going to be historic if it goes
south.
South.
It's going to be historic, seriously.
And I hope the security agencies are ready
yes,
because there's likely to be some breakdown of law and order, knowing fully well that the two Kingsmen, all guns blazing, wanting that throne.
Yeah, and of course, no political will to end banditry, says Zamfara governor. And still on the leadership paper, it says Democracy Day, states observe low-key celebration. Prime Sec denies alleged sexual harassment of female staff. Okay.
Yeah, I think we were supposed to have that story in full, and hopefully maybe we'll go on the break. When we come back, we're going to take a read on that story. Then we'll do some analysis. I'd like to get your view on that for the Affairs Ministry. And you could see the lady also. Probably when you see the lady, picture of the lady, you might want to understand why there's so much hue and cry, and maybe you might forgive the official if he's truly guilty.
All right, still on the leadership, there's one story. It says presidency waves off this particular one is for you, Anthony. Presidency waves off Tinubu's slip, says he's human.
Yeah, nobody said he was inhuman. But what I was saying is that they need to probe who made the stage, who prepared the stage. Why did he leave a gap between where this president was going to stand and step into the parade vehicle? Because there was a gap. That was why the president did sleep. So I hope it wasn't a deliberate sabotage.
Okay. And now we're moving to the New Telegraph right now.
Okay.
And it says, 25th Democracy Day, more dividends coming to Nigeria, says Abbas, hopefully. And still on the New Telegraph says, Lagos LG funds legal fireworks resumes as Supreme Court hears federal government suits against 36 governors today. And on minimum wage on the New Telegraph, it says, Labour says no path with federal government, insists on 250,000. I like the fact that they're still standing their grounds. And on the military now, it says credible polls, potent path to immortalize MKO Abiola over heroes of democracy. That's Adeleke. Now, June 12, our loyalty to constitutional democracy, absolute. That's the chief CDS.
Yeah, Christopher Musa. I was in the chat with a soldier who told me there was this rift between the Chief of Defense Staff and the Chief of Army Staff. The Chief of Army Staff not being economical with the truth as regards payment of officers, where certain pronouncements as regards increase of salaries wasn't what is obtainable. And when the Chief of Defense Staff went to see the lawmakers, he stated, made the lawmakers know the shortfalls in salaries and on wages of the Nigerian Army officers. But when after he left, the Chief of Army Staff was called to explain why there was that shortfall, or to reaffirm what the CDS said. And he was saying he was not aware of the claims of the CDS. And so it got me thinking, why would there be that discrepancy, and why would the Chief of Army Staff not want to tally with the CDS? So
now, I want you to understand something about the military. There's something called cadre and hierarchy, and there is absolute loyalty when it comes to your superior. Now, I can tell you for free that the Chief of Army Staff, I'm not for them, I'm just telling you what I know from where I'm coming from. The Chief of Army Staff would never go behind.
Well, he didn't go behind.
I'm just saying to actually put the CDS under the bus. It can never happen. I am telling you, because the CDS is above the Chief of Army Staff.
So I was thinking.
Now the Chief of Army Staff owes the CDS, I mean, the respect that you can ever think of, because that's the cadre of the Chief of Army Staff, then the
obviously
the Chief of Defense Staff first.
Above all of them.
Above all the
service chiefs, obviously.
Above all the Air Force, Army, and Navy. So he would never say anything contrary to what the CDS has said. That soldier doesn't know what he's talking about. It can never happen. I am telling you that for free. It can never. There can never be a rift between the CDS and Chief of Army Staff. Why? Because the CDS is above the Chief of Army Staff. I will tell you that for free. Take it to the bank.
Well, that's one story we hope in the coming days we'll be able to clear about that talking point in the coming days. Hopefully we'll get someone who will be able to expand on that talking point somewhere along the line. All right, let's look at the last paper before we close the wrap.
Punch, and it says
punchy headlines.
Punchy headlines. And it says the federal government warns of mass sacking as Labour disowns agreement. And it says unrealistic minimum wage will cause job losses. Minister tells Labour.
So
really, Anthony, 250,000 is it unrealistic with what we are in now when it comes to the economy?
But it shows you how insensitive the government is.
Let me
add, they say it's unrealistic. But
yes.
It's realistic in their minds for Nigerians to pay such amount for tariff. For you remove fuel subsidy, it's realistic for Nigerians to be able to pay transport. Come on now.
But looking at it basically,
I don't understand.
Wait.
It's not. There's nothing to stutter about it.
You know, someone made the statement. It's not the increment that is the problem. It's sustaining this 250,000. Do you know how many Nigerians are
But
out there?
I'm asking the question.
At least there be a balance. Let's start from somewhere. Like I said,
I'm not saying they should give them 250,000, but I think 100,000 will make more sense. It will be easier for
families to live. And you cut down on all of these
because
things.
when you say 60,000, it's not realistic now.
No, not that. It's really small. But
is it house rent you're going to pay?
From 35,000.
Likewise, the increase in the tariffs. That's what we're even looking at, because it's not really. Do you know what is going to happen if they stick to that 30 or 60,000? There's going to be more corruption in the civil service. More corruption, more crime.
Okay. All right, so we're still looking at the Punch for more punchy headlines. And it says, governor demands refund from $10 billion NIPP investment. Federal government threatens to punish schools shunning safety guidelines. Now, end hunger, protests seek end to economic hardship. And still on the Punch, we have sexual harassment. HOS suspends Permanent Secretary orders proof. Ondo man nabbed with 8 skulls, human parts. Oh wow. Motorist groans as Ogun Ram Market causes gridlock in Lagos Ibadan Expressway. Of course, festivity is around the corner, and all right, basically.
All right, that's how much I will take in as regards the papers. Hopefully, we'll be having a slight discourse as regards something playing out in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That will be after this quick break. Stay with us.
for an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines to explore the lasting impact of political decisions. Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further.
All right, we've reached the business end of today's program, but before we go, we've got some very interesting talking points. Let's take you to the Foreign Affairs Ministry, where the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ibrahim Lamua, has denied the allegation of sexual harassment levied against him by Fajemiloko Ajayi. That's a Yoruba name. Fajemiloko Ajayi, a media aide to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga. Lamua denied the allegations of sexual harassment in his reply to Mrs. Ajayi's petition submitted to the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation. We know that Premium Times reported on Tuesday that the Foreign Affairs Minister, Tuga, forwarded Mrs. Ajayi's petition authored on her behalf by her team of lawyers from renowned senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana's law firm, to the head of service. The media platform Nigeria reported on Wednesday that it obtained a copy of Lamuwa's response similarly authored by his legal team led by Audu Anuga. Also, SAN people made futile efforts to get Lamuwa's reactions to the allegations through his lawyer. So that's the picture of the man in question. We've known that the Minister of Foreign Affairs is a man with a white beard, and the man being accused is the man on the other side of the picture, and that's the woman, Mrs. Ajayi, that's got involved in this talking point. The response denied the multiple instances of sexual harassment alleged against him by Mrs. Ajayi's petition. It also made a counter-accusation alleging that Mrs. Ajayi's malicious claims against Lamua were triggered by his constant rejection of her improper request about the ministry's finances. A particular instance, according to him, was when Mrs. Ajayi, who is unfamiliar with civil service rules,
for an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight,
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on global televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday.